On today's 10, we're looking at the dark side of one of the world's best football factories to find the 10 most disappointing players ever to come through Barcelona's fabled academy, La Masia. 10. Cesc Cuenca. Pep Guardiola's stint at Barcelona saw plenty of young forwards given a shot in the first team, and among the most promising prospects was Cesc Cuenca. A native Catalonian who was educated at 6 different academies, the winger first went to La Masia at the age of 11, returning at 18 and debuting for the seniors 2 years later. Touted as an upgrade on Pedro, Cuenca scored on his third appearance, adding gloss to a 5-0 defeat of Mallorca, and would play 30 times for the club in the 2011-12 campaign, notably seeing Barca finish second to Mourinho's Madrid. In that time he scored 4 and assisted 12, but Pep's departure and a serious knee injury hampered a loan to Ajax the next year, and between 2014 and 2017, Cuenca could muster just 7 goals in all competitions during periods at Deportivo, Granada and Turkey's Bursaspor. To Cuenca's credit, he was willing to try new things, and first moved to Israeli side Hapoel Beersheva, where he won the league, before jetting off to Japan, where he hit a career-best 6 goals in 2019. Now at Vegalta Sendai in the north of the country and 29 years old, Cuenca has just 200 matches and 25 goals to show for a decade in the sport. 9. Bojan Krkić. Relative to most others on our list, Bojan was fairly successful. With La Masia between the ages of 9 and 19, he reportedly broke Lionel Messi's record for youth team goals with over 900, and again surpassed the Argentinian in 2007, when he became the youngest player ever to feature for Barcelona in La Liga at 17 years and 19 days. Under Guardiola, Bojan racked up 163 appearances and 60 goals and assists over the next 4 years, but failed to explode as expected, and so was sold to Roma for €12 million, scoring just 10 times across a year there and another on loan at Milan. Assuming they could turn a quick profit, Barcelona exercised a €13 million buyback, but once again lost out on the young forward, seeing him flop a third time at Ajax and ultimately selling him to Stoke for just €1.8 million. Though capable of brilliance, Bojan never made good on his promise, on average finishing 12th across his next 4 years with Stoke, Mainz and Alaves, before relegation to the Championship saw him move on again, this time to Montreal Impact, the 8th club and 6th country of his career. Now 30, he may have 4 titles and 2 Champions League medals, but he remains one of La Masia's greatest disappointments. 8. Martín Montoya. One of just 2 players on our list currently playing in one of Europe's top 5 leagues, Martín Montoya joined La Masia at 8 and looked destined for the top, starring in Spain's youth sides ahead of Dani Carvajal and establishing himself as a starter in Barca's B side in 2009, when the team was coached by Luis Enrique. In those days, the Blaugrana name still carried a lot of weight, and though Montoya was never a regular in 5 years with the senior squad, he won a treble, went out on loan to Inter Milan and was heavily linked with Liverpool in 2015 before eventually signing for Valencia. At the time, he was an excellent one-on-one defender, putting up over 6 tackles and interceptions and a dribble each game. But though he helped Los Che return to the Champions League under Marcelino, he was not seen as a key player and was sold to Brighton in 2018 for £6 million at the age of 27. He remained solid, winning 70% of his challenges across 2 seasons with the Seagulls, but without much attacking output or great athleticism, he never truly shone, and returned to Spain with Betis in 2020, where he currently warms the bench. 7. Fran Mérida. You probably know Fran Mérida as a former Arsenal wonder kid, brought to North London in 2007 by his agent Joseba Diaz, who had helped Cesc Fabregas along the same path. An attacking midfielder, he first wore a Gunners shirt in September 2007, and just 7 months later was handed a new contract, with Arsene Wenger describing him as an absolutely amazing player and blocking loan moves to keep the Spaniard in his squad. However, Mérida began to believe his own hype, and though he verbally agreed a new deal at the Emirates, he delayed signing it amid interest from Atletico Madrid. A furious Wenger accused the Colchoneros of tapping up the youngster, but it didn't stop Mérida departing for free in 2010. He would go on to spend just 2 years in Madrid before being sold by Diego Simeone, and it was another 4 years until he returned to La Liga, dropping as low as the 3rd division and playing in Brazil before a switch to Osasuna in 2016. Mérida is currently back in the 2nd tier with Barca's city rivals Espanyol, and since leaving Arsenal has only 46 goals and assists in 261 games. 6. Haruna Babangida. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta came through Barcelona's academy in the late 90s, but his memory of that time is not what you might expect. In our dorms, there were Reina, Valdez, Iniesta and Carles Puyol, he told The Independent in 2018. I remember there was this guy called Haruna Babangida. Wow, at the age of 15 he was the best player in the world. I cannot put into words how talented he was. Babangida was a Nigerian winger who arrived in Spain in 1997 after a spell at Ajax. Immediately a regular in the youth team, he was the youngest player in the reserve side's history until Alex Grimaldo took his crown in 2011. But he was disliked by then Barcelona coach Louis van Gaal, who knew Babangida's ringtone and would punish him whenever it went off in training. For a creative midfielder who thrived on freedom, it was a bad fit, and though some first-team players were kind, with Luis Figo helping the youngster open his first bank account, he was moved on in 2004, joining Metalo Donetsk, where he played with Yaya Toure, Olympiacos, who signed him on Rivaldo's recommendation, and then in Cyprus, Russia and at German side Mainz, where he was managed by B-team boss Thomas Tuchel. Unfortunately, his best record at any club was 54 games for Apollon Limassol, and Babangida ended his career in Malta in 2015. As Arteta said, he should have been a star. 5. Marc Muniesa. One of the 8 La Masia graduates handed a Barcelona debut by Pep Guardiola, much was expected of Marc Muniesa when he broke through as a 17-year-old in 2009. Appearing off the bench against Osasuna, Muniesa was sent off almost immediately and Barca lost the match 1-0, but it didn't seem to hurt his prospects as he was named on the bench for the Champions League final 4 days later, though he didn't appear in the competition or earn a medal. Promoted to the first team the following season, Muniesa still mostly played with the B side, helping them to third in the Segunda División, but he did earn 3 senior caps, including in Barca's famous 7-1 win over Leverkusen, in which Messi bagged 5. At 20, Muniesa was well liked at Barca and pursued by Ajax, but despite 2 contract extensions in 2 years, the Blaugrana lost faith when the Spaniard tore his cruciate ligament in 2012 and spent 6 months on the treatment table, moving him on to Stoke. Largely on the sidelines during 4 years in the Prem, Muniesa returned to Catalonia with Girona in 2017 but jumped ship after relegation, and now plays for Qatari side Al Arabi. 4. Wilfrid Kaptoum. Yet another player hurt by comparisons to the greats, Wilfrid Kaptoum arrived at La Masia at 12, his path to Barcelona smoothed by an education at the Samuel Eto'o Academy in his native Cameroon. Originally a deep midfielder likened to Xavi and Thiago, Kaptoum moved forward as he aged, and after an impressive stint as a 10 in 2015, he appeared for the seniors 3 times, twice in the Copa del Rey and once in the Champions League. It was an auspicious start, as a 19-year-old Kaptoum bagged a goal against Gary Neville's Valencia at the Mestalla to salvage a 1-1 draw and extend Barcelona's unbeaten run to 29 games, breaking a record set in the Guardiola era. But it was to be the high point of his career in Catalonia. On returning to the B team, Kaptoum was less eye-catching than before, and a knee injury ruled him out for 5 months, at the end of which he was shipped out to the Real Betis academy side. The midfielder terminated his contract in October 2020 after languishing in the reserves for 2 years, and at 24 now plays in MLS with New England Revolution, alongside former Man United defender Alexander Butner. 3. Alex Vidal. Plenty of academy graduates fail, but only a few manage to do so while costing their parent club a fortune. Alex Vidal was at La Masia at 12, but moved through 7 other academies, including Real Madrid's, before breaking through at Almeria and Sevilla, where he won the Europa League and made the squad of the season in 2015, mostly playing as a winger. With Dani Alves then 32, Barcelona needed a new fullback, and figured the best way to replace the Brazilian's attacking output was by converting a more attacking player into a defensive role. They paid 18 million euros for Vidal, then 26, but he struggled to displace Alves, appearing in just 9 league matches that year, while the veteran played 29. And even after Alves left, Vidal failed to nail down his place, playing a further 21 times in La Liga over the next 2 years and contributing just 7 goals and assists in that time, with defensive midfielder Sergi Roberto preferred in the right-back slot. After 3 campaigns, Vidal was sold back to Sevilla for half of what Barcelona had paid, but again struggled for minutes, going out on loan to Alaves in 2019-20 and avoiding relegation by just 3 points. 2. Xavi Torres. Though not technically an academy player, Xavi Torres did come through Barcelona's B team, joining in 2007 when Pep Guardiola took over. Lining up in midfield alongside Sergio Busquets and Thiago, he helped the reserves to promotion from the 4th tier in 2008, before debuting for the senior side a year later, at the age of 22, when Pep became Barca boss. However, that history counted for little, as he played just twice under Guardiola and was allowed to leave for Malaga on a free. where again he was unappreciated, loaned out to Levante after just a year. This was the best period of his career. He missed just 7 league matches in 2 seasons, helping the Granotas beat relegation before finishing 6th in 2012, earning European football for the first time in their history. But despite that success, he refused a 4-year deal, instead moving to Getafe, then Betis, with whom he was relegated in 2016. Now 34, Torres has had 6 clubs in the last 5 years, getting relegated once more and spending time in the Spanish 2nd Division, Australia and Kuwait. Despite his age, he's played under 300 career matches, about 100 fewer than Raheem Sterling. Hardly the career he must have envisioned when he first arrived at the Camp Nou. 1. Sergi Samper. The Barca academy is full of new Messis, Iniestas and Xavis, but Sergi Samper was a rarer thing, touted as the new Busquets as a 16-year-old in 2011. Born in Barcelona and linked with Man City and Arsenal as a teenager, he was valued at £5 million before he even made a senior appearance for the club. But the strength of the first 11 meant he played 103 times for the B team, one of just 8 players to make a century in the reserves. He made his Barca bow in the Champions League in 2014 and his league debut the following season. But though he won 6 trophies with the Blaugrana, he featured just 11 times in those 6 competitions. In need of regular football in 2016, he was loaned out to Granada, but couldn't hold down a spot even in a poor side, which ended the campaign with demotion to the Segunda División, while another temporary move to Las Palmas the next year was cut short by a long-term ankle injury. Eventually, Barca terminated his contract in 2019, but he did fulfill his dream of playing alongside the club's icons, moving to Vissel Kobe in Japan, where he has since appeared alongside David Villa and Andres Iniesta. So those were 10 of the most disappointing graduates of Barcelona's academy, but who do we miss out and who would you have included? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to never miss a video. We'll see you next time.